Beyond the Podium, sponsored by Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Innovative cancer treatment close to home. Together, we're making cancer history.
Competition is well underway now at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. So in Milano, hustling and bustling in the city, and up in Cortina, a majestic view with plenty of snow. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan, and you are watching Beyond the Podium. And the expectations are sky high for the U.S. women's hockey team. They're in search of gold at the Games for the first time since South Korea. That was 2018. And there's a collision course in the women's tournament. It's a predictable one. Chris Egan from Seattle joins us, and you've been following this for years now. Man, these are rivals.
USA versus Canada. Anne-Marie, there have been 31 major tournaments in women's hockey. The U.S. and Canada, they have combined to win each and every one of these tournaments. 24 World Championships, 7 Olympic Games. It all comes down to U.S. and Canada. This is one of the best rivalries in all of sports.
The world of women's hockey is a small one. That world consists of North America, the United States, and Canada.
We hate them. It's an awesome rivalry. It's so spicy out there.
Since women's hockey started in the Olympics, these two countries have pretty much staged a two-team tournament.
Blood boils sometimes on the ice and even off the ice, so I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest rivalries.
In 7 Olympic Games, Canada and the U.S. have won the gold medal each time. The Americans won gold in 1998 in Nagano. Then Canada won 4 Olympic Games in a row in Salt Lake, Torino, Vancouver, and Sochi. The red, white, and blue stopped that streak in 2018 in Pyeongchang. But then Canada stood on top of the podium 4 years later in 2022 in Beijing.
The loss always sucks, and it stays with you for quite a while.
When it ended in 2022, I mean, we all looked right to 2026, and we knew what our goal was, and we want to win a gold medal.
This is their Stanley Cup and Olympics, and everything is all wrapped up into one as far as their dreams are concerned, and this is the tip of the iceberg for women's hockey.
The possibility of beating the Canadians to win Olympic gold is what keeps Team USA coming back to the rink every day.
When both teams step on the ice, it's almost like a do-or-die mentality, and I think everyone takes so much pride in like U.S. or Canada, and I think that gets put on display when we hit the ice.
In women's hockey, supremacy is judged by Olympic gold. Add some bad blood, rich history, and the best players in the world, and you have one of the best rivalries in sports.
And it's not just the women. The U.S. men and Canada, they have a very intense rivalry as well. Take a look at that 4 Nations tournament. U.S. defeats Canada in the prelims. There were some scuffles in that first matchup. Canada goes on to win the 4 Nations tournament, taking out the USA 3-2 in overtime. This is going to be intense, Anne-Marie, if these two teams face off in the Olympics.
And we've got the NHL players that are back. You've sat down and had a conversation with them one-on-one. Well, how did they feel about being at the games again?
So many of these players are very excited to be here. I sat down with Philipp Grubauer. He's the goaltender for Germany. Kaapo Kakko, Eli Tolvanen for Finland. They said they grew up not watching the NHL. They grew up watching the Olympics. This is where they want to play. They want to represent their country. So there's a lot of excitement to be here in Italy.
Yeah, now is their time. Yeah. Chris, thank you. Security is always a top priority at any Olympics. Our Tegna cameras had access to the nerve center at these Winter Games. Behind the closed doors, more than 100 people are watching computer screens. They're surrounded by dozens of large TVs. They're all working in mission control. This is called the Technology Operations Center, or TOC for short. It's where in a spread out Olympics with 25 venues in 8 cities, a network of communication, security, cybersecurity, and information all come together in this one spot. So if there's a problem, people are close by to communicate with each other to get it fixed and keep the game secure. One of my favorite things about walking around Milan is seeing what people are wearing. There is a real focus on fashion here. And Cheryl Preheim from Atlanta, we've been seeing the same things. Oh, did you see that? Man, they look amazing.
Exactly. Italy is known for a lot of things, beautiful buildings and architecture, art, and fashion, no doubt about it. And you see people here dressed to the nines, not just in things that look good, but pure luxury, because Milan is home to some of the most luxurious, prestigious, and expensive brands.
Italy loves looking good. From the art to the cars and of course the high fashion.
Well, fashion is so very important all over Italy.
And Milan resident Alessandro Pini says there's one place in Milan people can go to for the finest styles.
We have all the most famous brands. The shops from lovely shoes to the beautiful accessories. We have Prada. I'm mentioning that because we have the very first shop of Prada open here.
Located in the heart of Milan, right next to the cathedral, is the Galleria. It was built in 1865. Its dome architecture, beautiful.
Look at it. It's covered with glass and iron ever since the beginning.
And spectacular clothes sold here. The Galleria is full of the biggest names in fashion, a way of life in Italy where residents look good to feel good.
We have Gucci, we have Louis Vuitton, we have them all.
And pretty incredible that it's all in one place. Literally, there's this intersection, four corners of all of these brands, Armani, Dior. It's incredible. And the price tags will make you take a little bit of a triple take. I say, is there a TJ Maxx around here? I'm just not sure.
It's rent. It's rent money for the coat.
But you feel like you're part of the history. I mean, that is so deeply part of Italy, and you see people embracing it, and you see people taking pictures in front of the Duomo every day, and you know that they have planned that perfect high fashion outfit. And it's not just the women, it's the men too. We've met some very fashionable, luxuriously dressed men who take that very seriously because it's really a part of the culture they're very proud of.
Right, and they're influencers too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're walking around, they've got their outfit, they planned it for this moment. And, you know, I don't know if you saw, but, you know, we're on a budget.
Yeah.
For lunch, McDonald's is like right part of the Galleria right there.
So maybe there is a Ross.
Yeah.
There's a little something for everyone.
Little Marshalls.
Yeah, you can tell who's here for the Winter Games because this is about as high fashion as the puffy coats get. So there was actually a moment, you know, I had all my gear and I was getting ready, you know, to do a story on the Olympics. And we saw these fashion models in front of the cathedral. And we said, oh, can we jump in and take a picture? So we're titling this Tired Working Moms and Models, you know.
At the games.
At the games. At the games. But truly, it's really fun. Window shopping is as much a sport here as anything else.
For sure, for sure. Cheryl, thanks so much.
You bet.
Travel is so many things. It's fun and exciting, and it's also stressful because you have so much time and there's so much to see, and it's hard to know how to get there, what's the best itinerary. That's why you turn to travel experts. Jake Wittenberg, who is from our Seattle station, talked to one of the nation's leading travel experts and joins us with more.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not the travel expert. Rick Steves, you know that name. He's become a household name. When it comes to travel, he makes Europe accessible for everyone. He lives in Edmonds, Washington. I had a chance to sit down with him to talk about this amazing place, Milan, Italy. He says this is the perfect place to showcase the best of the best.
Milan, Italy isn't just a city, it's a pulse. A powerhouse of fashion, finance, and art. And it's an all-time favorite destination for one of the world's most famous travelers.
I love Italy.
Rick Steves, longtime Edmonds resident, says he's visited Italy at least 50 times. In 1976, he turned his love for traveling into a career by making Italy and the rest of Europe more accessible to the average traveler.
Life is a theater, life is a game, life is a food fest. It's, Italians really know how to live well. When you go to Milan, you've got a chance to go to the great Duomo, the cathedral, so many spires. And you hike around on the roof, and on a crispy day, you can see beautiful Alps in the distance.
That's where the Dolomites, 5 hours north of Milan, play host to skiing and sliding events at the Winter Games. It's also an area where, no surprise, Rick went hiking just a few weeks before our interview. He says the size of the Olympic apparatus will make travel in these small mountain villages a real challenge.
The infrastructure will not handle the massive crowds as everybody converges on Italy. Anybody that thinks they can zip from an event in Milan over to an event in Cortina, they're dreaming.
Rick's famous for exploring and immersing himself in day-to-day culture.
You feel the weave of society as you stroll in the evening. There's a little rough edge in a big city, and the passeggiata is nicknamed Struccio, which is the big rub. And people rub each other, and the men and the women check each other out. And instead of saying buonasera, they say bella, beautiful.
The Winter Games will make Milan feel like the center of the world for the month of February. And bringing cultures together is what Rick Steves loves the most.
When you go to the Olympics, you're reminded it's a big, beautiful world. I love the thought that you can learn a little bit about your own city, your own country, by leaving it and looking at it from a distance. And I learn a lot about how the United States could be better when I go to a place like Italy.
Rick's company still gives tours here every week. It's a very popular way to explore Italy, and no surprise, Anne-Marie, Rick himself has plans to return to Milan already.
Yeah, and I'm sure at the top of the list for this city would be visit to the Duomo.
Absolutely. It was on the top of his list. He told us we had to check it out. I'm going to make sure I get onto that roof and see it for myself.
We're so lucky to have this spot. All right, thanks so much, Jake. A day in the life, and being a curler, not the most glamorous life. We'll show you how 2 curlers for Team USA make ends meet so they can pursue Olympic gold. You're watching Beyond the Podium.
And I just feel really grateful to have a job that pays the bills while I'm able to go and compete.
There's a lot of rocking and rolling going on right now in Cortina, and we're not talking music, we're talking curling. Yes, and this is Alicia Lewis. She's from Minneapolis, and it's interesting because members of Team USA curling, almost all of them have a Minnesota connection.
That's right. Minnesota is the home of curling for a reason, and in fact, I talked with 2 curlers from Duluth, Minnesota, who have normal 9-to-5 jobs just like us, but when they're not working, they're curling around the clock. I got a chance to see what a day in the life is like for them. Let's take a look. Not far from the shores of Lake Superior in Duluth, Minnesota,
these lovely steps. I gotta paint these now too.
You'll find Olympic curler Corey Dropkick
try to clean it up
sweeping something other than ice.
Doing some painting around the deck today.
Corey already punching his ticket to the Winter Olympics.
I've always got something to get done.
Still needs to punch the clock to pay his bills.
I have 2 full-time jobs. One is curling. Doesn't pay as well as my other job is a realtor.
When Corey isn't selling houses or making repairs to his own, you can find him here at the Duluth Curling Club.
Moving to Minnesota was kind of like there wasn't really much of an option. It was just like, okay, if I want to pursue my dreams, if I want to be an Olympian, I need to live in Duluth.
Now that dream has become a reality for this realtor and his Duluth native curling partner, Corey TC.
I started when I was 8 years old, so my parents both curl, so I just grew up here at the curling club. My mom actually played competitively when I was younger.
Following in her mom's footsteps, both in curling
This is my mom.
and working here.
I actually work for a company that does mercury testing in wastewater, so making sure that the water is at a low enough level of mercury before it gets put back out into the lakes and streams.
Working alongside her mom, who just so happens to be her boss.
Yeah, I give her a lot of time off.
That really is helpful for getting time off to go compete, and I just feel really grateful to have a job that pays the bills while I'm able to go and compete in curling.
Today, both Coreys are less focused on their 9-to-5s and more focused on the ultimate prize.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. This is what we work towards every single day. This is what we've been dreaming of since we were little kids.
To finally have it come true and to be able to experience the Olympic experience and play for the Olympic gold and pour my whole heart out on the ice is going to be such a cool opportunity.
I got a chance to hang out with both Corey's parents, and they gave me this pin, Team Corey, so we're definitely rooting them on for this whole adventure. And what's really cool is, so in the mixed doubles tournament, it's going to end soon, but the female Corey, she's going to go on to play with the women's team on Team Peterson.
Yeah, so we have a Corey with a C and Corey with a K.
Yes.
And we've got a large family contingency here.
For sure.
Yeah, all right. Have you ever tried curling?
I have. It's harder than it looks. They make it look so easy, but you need a lot of skill,
Yeah.
ab strength.
Yeah, something I haven't tried yet. Oh, ab strength. Ooh. All right, Alicia, thanks. Coming up on Beyond the Podium, it might just be the toughest ticket to get at the Olympics, and it has nothing to do with the games. We're going to go on a tour inside Milan's Opera House next. A common question of the athletes here at the Olympics is, what's on your playlist? And it's unlikely that many of them are answering, oh, I'm listening to opera, but opera is a big part of the culture here in Italy.
You better believe it is, and you better believe that opera probably influenced a lot of the music that they're listening to, and a lot of it has been sung in the Scala Opera House right here in Milan, which is one of the most premier opera houses in the world.
In Milan, Italy, you can hear opera being sung on the streets or inside the Scala Opera House.
Opera tells about life.
Built nearly 250 years ago, this house is where Raphael Melice,
Scientific advisor of Teatro alla Scala,
says the world's best composers and singers have performed.
We have a very long tradition starting at the end of the 18th century, and most of great Italian opera composers from Rossini to Verdi and Puccini have been strictly linked to La Scala.
Even today, opera singers audition for the chance to sing on this stage. In one of the world's premier opera houses with seats for a little more than 2,000 people under a giant chandelier filled with hundreds of lights.
It's nearly 400 lights, and it's really huge.
The rooms,
every room of this opera house is especially elegant.
And the opera house has been updated over time to accommodate fundraising events and modern productions of shows.
Opera is certainly very telling about Italian culture, about arts, about living style, and also about passion.
With a style of music started in Italy,
started at the end of the 16th century,
and still influencing the world today.
Most people who know Italian, who speak Italian in the world, they do that because of opera. And every night, in every town in the world, there is a place, there is an opera house where Italian is being sung, thanks to opera itself.
Whether it's being sung on the streets or in an opera house,
a matter of acoustics, a matter of physics, but it's also a matter of magic.
Raphael says opera has enriched Italian culture and the world for centuries.
It's a story taking place somewhere else in the world or in a distant time. It tells something about you.
What a beautiful facility, and they're busy.
They are. It's live performances nightly. They have 14 operas a year, and it seats more than 2,000 people, and they're selling those shows out every single time.
Yeah, test a moment. F! After the break, we wrap up this edition of Beyond the Podium. There are so many things to see at the Olympics. Ahead, we ask one of our team members what for them has been the best thing so far.
You could say it's been a very interesting week at work.
It's an honor for Milan.
Carlos Ramos is meeting new customers from all corners of the world, soccer fans who aren't in town for soccer at all.
Because it's strange that very famous people are in Milan for the Olympics. It's very strange.
He works at a team store for Milan's two clubs, AC and Inter Milan, teams that bring 80,000 people to San Siro Stadium for games. Now it's a stadium known around the globe as the site of the 2026 Winter Olympic opening ceremony. Are you excited the Olympics are here?
It's awesome, it's awesome.
Carlos says it's been busy and he loves practicing his English with Olympic tourists. He'd love to be able to practice more at a FIFA World Cup soccer game in the United States later this year, maybe even a trip to Atlanta.
One of the best things is at the end of the day, the members of our team of 10 kind of touch base and say, you know, what'd you do? What'd you do? What's the best thing you saw today? And I love what David Greenberg from our Cleveland station has to share with us now.
Yeah, this is so cool, and this is a first-time Olympics for me, so you never know what you're going to run into, especially when you're taking the public transportation. And I've had some pretty cool encounters so far, but I think the best thing that I saw was meeting Claudia Pechstein, a former German speed skater. She's a 9-time medalist, 5-time gold medalist. And we were just having the chance to talk with her for about 40 minutes. I was with Corey Miller from St. Louis, and we were taking the train back from hockey, and all of a sudden we just got to chatting with her, and she was telling us about her previous games, and I asked what was your favorite Olympics, and she was like, oh, I don't have a favorite, and then she was kind of going through them, and then she was like, but I did win 2 gold medals in Salt Lake, so I was
maybe
like,
Salt Lake.
So maybe your favorite? She was like, yeah, I think that was my favorite. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of the cool things about being here at the Olympics is you see so many cool things on a daily basis, but you never, you try and just stay down that path of not trying to get too high or too low. Right. But that was definitely one where you look back and you're like, wow, what an encounter.
Yeah, a moment on the Metro. You never know who you're going to run into.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to run into. So I guess we'll have to see who else we run into during our time here. But I feel like it's going to be pretty hard to top a 9-time Olympic medalist.
Yeah, remember, it's a marathon.
Exactly. And she would know that too. It's certainly a marathon. She's well conditioned.
David, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap of this edition of Beyond the Podium. We certainly hope you enjoy our stories and stay with us because we have many more to share with you. Thanks for watching. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan.
Beyond the Podium, sponsored by Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center.